Hello, everyone, and welcome to BodyBags. I'll be your reviewer for tonight. I'm Lonnie from Tats, and the movie that I want to talk about is from 2021. It is a Halloween horror anthology, and it is called Bad Candy. And this is a really fun movie. One thing you're going to notice, though, when you start watching this movie, it definitely, you could definitely tell, it definitely kind of feels like they're going for a trick or treat vibe. But overall, I would definitely recommend this movie. It takes place in New Salem on Halloween night. Yeah, big stretch there, huh? But anyway, so really our two main characters are, working a radio station, 66.6 FM, and the online talent or the on-air talent is Chili Billy, played by Corey Taylor from Slipknot. So and he does actually a really good job in this. He's a lot of fun to watch. And the other person who's working with him is his assistant, kind of his director, Paul, played by Zach Galligan, who, you're going to remember from Gremlins 2, Waxwork 2, Hatchet 3, on and on and on. And so, Zach Galligan's always cool to see him in a movie. The one thing I think is funny, though, is like, I think it's funny, maybe it's just me, but it just seems funny when Zach Galligan curses, It's like whenever you hear him drop F-bombs in a movie or something, it just sounds weird, because, I'm just so used to seeing him in Gremlins and, usually he's always playing characters where he's just, kind of like really clean-cut kid and, doesn't really curse or anything like that. So it's just kind of funny to hear him curse, but... So anyway, so it's Halloween night and people are calling in and they're asking Chili Billy to tell them, stories of Halloween, to kind of entertain them and keep everybody in a good spooky mood and keep the ambiance of Halloween going. And so he starts telling these tales, and they're the story of him and Paul running the radio station kind of pretty much bookends the stories. And you do get assortment of stories, and like Trick or Treat, all the stories are connected to Halloween. There is a message in this movie about you need to be respectful of Halloween, mind the Halloween traditions, things like this. And there is a character in the movie that is this, this evil clown character that is called Bad Candy. And clearly the character is supposed to be a character along the lines of Sam from Trick or Treat. I don't know if this character is going to ever become as popular as Sam from Trick or Treat, but, still. But he's this really tall clown with like an evil face, and he's got these long kind of like talon fingers and things, and kind of like the character goes through every story, and like Trick or Treat, you have characters that will cross over from one story to another. So the first real story is about this little girl who she's dressed up as a witch. She wants to go out and just trick or treat with her friends. Her mother has passed away, and she's living with her horrible stepdad. I mean, this guy is over the top nasty. He's, just constantly just drinking one beer after the other and everything. Some people, like, you probably watch this movie, you'd be like, well, no wonder why this guy's always he's so horrible and nasty. He's drinking Miller Lite. That beside the point, but so anyway, so he's, this guy's literally like running people over with his truck, and he's just not even paying attention. But so he's texting his stepdaughter, telling her to get her butt home, and so he's being very abusive. He's, really just talking really nasty to her. But it turns out that this little girl, she has the ability to, if she's really good at drawing. And the one thing that she draws a lot of creatures, a lot of mystical creatures, kind of Tinkerbell fairy kind of characters. She's drawing monsters and things like this. But the thing is like the creatures that she draws come to life. She actually has the power. Whenever she draws a creature, she brings them to life. And she just finally decides she's had enough of her horrible, terrible, abusive stepdad, that she decides to draw creatures to get revenge on him. And that's kind of the first story. Then we get into the next story, which is about this old man who is just horrible, just terrible. And, he's having so much fun poisoning candy, and he's like baking cupcakes, and he's putting razor blades in them and putting razor blades in candy and giving them out to kids and everything. And then he has his, as horror anthologies go, he gets his comeuppance, and has to pay for what he's doing wrong, you know. And I'm sorry if I'm just kind of like being very glib about it, but it's just, I'm trying not to give away too much, so, you want to see the movie. And then we have certain characters that have gone to a Halloween party. Like for instance, we have this guy who's selling drugs. He's going and giving away drugs to girls. Selling drugs, all this kind of stuff. And he goes and stops at this kind of gas station convenience store where these three prostitutes are hanging out. And one of the prostitutes kind of ends up in her own story later on. But he's drinking beer and everything, so he goes in to use the bathroom, and he meets a very nasty character, that is decked out in a full Halloween costume, who decides that, had enough of this guy poisoning, people and children with his drugs and everything, and decides to, get a little revenge on this guy. And another story concerns a woman at a party who she, turns out her name is Abby. And this story I found rather intriguing. I think you might too. But it's kind of hard to explain this one. I hope you guys will bear with me. But so Abby, she's at the party and she's trying to get all of this guy that she wants to date. And the guy's saying, "You're boring, you're weird, you're creepy, leave me alone, I don't want nothing to do with you." And so she's upset, but so she's sitting at the party and she gets a message, "Hey, we're shorthanded, can you come into work?" And so she tells her friends, "Okay, yeah, I got called in, I got to go to work and everything." So she goes to work, and it turns out she works in a morgue. And so she goes to the morgue and she's talking to the dead bodies, and there's, the body of a young man who's on the table. And so she looks at this guy and she decides she likes him. And, in that way, okay? And she's dressed very sexy. She's, wearing like a sexy nurse's outfit. And it looks like she's dropping like LSD, and she's drinking and all this kind of stuff. Well, she decides that, hey, the Halloween party was a bummer. The guy that she wanted to go to the party with stood her up. So she's going to have some fun with this dead corpse. And so I think you see where this is going, okay? So she decides to, engage in a little necro fun, okay? And the thing is like, how do I put this? It turns out, please forgive me for being crass, but it turns out this girl's, let's just say her love muffin is so good that it ends up bringing the dead back to life. Yeah, I'll leave you with that. Okay, let that sink in for a second, okay? Her love muffin is so good it brings the dead back to life. All right. Then we go into another story. Please forgive me. There might be, there are a number of stories in this movie, so I may end up forgetting one. So please forgive me if there is a story in here that I forget about. Oh yeah, there is a story about one of the girls who goes to the party. She's stuck in the closet with this guy. They're doing like a 7 minutes in heaven kind of a thing, and there are just kind of arguing back and forth, and so he's talking, "Hey man, we used to be friends," and all this kind of stuff. And the girl's like, "I don't want nothing to do with you and everything. You're gross, you're weird, you creep me out," and all this stuff. So she gets out and she has enough of the party and she decides she's going to go home. Well, she takes an Uber, she goes home, and it turns out the guy who's the Uber driver carries over into the next story. So she gets home, and it turns out that the guy that she was with at the party in the closet, along with another guy, decide that, they're in her house, and they're kind of ransacking the place. Looks like they're trying to rob it. And so they end up finding out that she's there, and so the guy that she was at the party with chases after her, tries to attack her, decides he's going to violate her. And then Bad Candy shows up and unleashes some hell on this guy. So, And then we get to our last story. I believe this is the last story where basically a group called the Ghosties. It is pretty much it's like ghost hunters or ghost adventures. It's a group of paranormal, activity, researchers and stuff. They're going exploring old houses and things, and then they go and they're investigating this house, and the woman who's kind of the psychic, she starts seeing visions of a really bad incident in which these boys trick this one boy into going into this house, and the boy goes inside. He's in the basement. He's got a lighter. Accidentally drops the lighter, starts a fire, and unfortunately he's not able to get out of the house. And so, but now things start. The ghost hunting goes awry, and now the ghost hunters, they have to try to get out of this house before something really bad happens to them. So, and that's about where I'm going to leave it. There's a little bit more to this movie, but like I said, I don't want to give away too much. I want to leave it, so there are some good surprises in here, and overall, this movie, it's not going to really give Trick or Treat a run for its money. I think Trick or Treat is still going to be kind of like the standout, Halloween horror anthology, but this one's not bad. It is a good movie. The stories are entertaining. Oh, I forgot the story. I'm sorry. There is a story. The guy who's the Uber driver, turns out he and his buddies are, war veterans. And it turns out that they have, and it involves one of the prostitutes in front of the convenience store. It turns out that these guys have a yearly Halloween tradition of, a little Halloween hunting, if you will. And, I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, so overall, it's a good movie. Like I said, it's a little bit hard to keep up. There's a number of stories, you could tell. Like I said, I'm not even sure if I remembered all of them correctly, but it is a good film. It's entertaining. How long is this movie anyway? Let's see, 100 minutes. No, it's 100 minutes long, but you know what? It's not. It's paced really well. The stories are well done. It's entertaining enough. It is a little bit cartoony and over the top in some areas, but you know what? It's done in a fun, kind of a good way. And I will admit there are some moments of bad CGI in it, so there's kind of that to look out for. But other than that, but you do get some really good practical effects. There's not a lot of over the top gore, but there is definitely a nice, you do get a good quotient of gore in this movie. And I would definitely say, yeah, if you're into, if you like because now we got a number, since Trick or Treat, we got a number of Halloween horror anthologies that have been coming out over the years. There's like 1031, and I think there's like a 1031 2, and there's, Trick or Treat, Tales of Halloween, this one, and on and on and on. And so, if you do like the Halloween horror anthologies, I think you'll really enjoy this one. It's not the best of them, but it's certainly not bad by any means. And it's just a fun, good time. It's entertaining enough. The stories are cool, and I definitely would say, yeah, give this movie a shot. It's a lot of fun. And, Corey Taylor, fun to see, the front man of Slipknot in a movie, and he's cool. And Zach Galligan's always fun to see him in a movie. So I would definitely say, yeah, if you get a chance, give Bad Candy a try. It's a lot of fun. So that's going to do it. I don't think there's really much more I can say about it. So if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I also hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave it a like. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to the BodyBags channel. There's a different reviewer, one for every day of the week. I'm the Saturday reviewer. We have a list of guys, great guys. Everybody's doing really good stuff. And we got some more fun theme weeks coming up. I think next week is... that's going to be fun to do. It's going to be Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee week. So that's going to be fun to do. So anyway, that's it. Everybody take care. Have a good night, and I'll see you next week.